Hello, hi, welcome to my home. I'm so glad you're here. This is video number 30. I'm Jean, and I have my camera set up a little different because I want to see if I can show you one of my collages I've made without all the reflection. So let's tip that down, and I can explain this a little bit if you want to give it a go. Now, I had it framed, and I did this maybe in 2019, I'm not sure. And I don't know where the idea came from, but I decided to take the background of this is all kind of just pieces of, it's not images, it's just like backgrounds. Flowers, stripes you can see, other kind of, polka dots. It's, fences, posts, all the background. I made a whole big background of this size of just things like that, not like images of plants or animals or anything. And then, out of the blue, and I'm only saying this to you guys because I want you to, well, I don't want you to, but just give you the idea that if something comes to you to do, I don't know, maybe give it a try. So then I had some ribbon, and I got black ribbon and white ribbon, and I put it on top of the background of all the just abstract background. And I didn't measure, I just put black, and then I put a white and a black and a white, went black and white, using my glue stick, and just put that on top. And then, and this took a while, and then I went and I started cutting out images and just got a whole bunch of images. And that's the fun part, I think. So when you have your background done, and in this case it was sort of like two backgrounds, the abstract background and then the ribbons, and then I could play around with where I wanted to put my images. And for this little guy over here and this one here, I kept part of them hanging off the image. Even the Statue of Liberty is a little bit off the image. And it was fun. It was fun to do this. It was really hard. And several years after that, I tried to replicate it, not make this exact one, but to do the same process, and it didn't work. So maybe it was just a one-time thing. But that's another thing you can do with collages. Bring out your ribbons, bring out any other materials you have, and see what you can do with it. So now I'm going to put this back up, move it back, take this off the couch, and put it over here, and see if I can get back to my regular setup. And I'm not going to have everything as set up as usual because of that. There's my light went crooked. And we'll just play it by ear. Okay, this is my pillow. Get yourself comfortable. Put that a little higher. And I always have some water to drink and some stuff ready. So I couldn't think of a story to tell. I have to raise this a little bit higher, I think. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't think of a story or a poem that I wanted, or a story to tell you, and I looked at my poetry and I was like, But I had this one that I did write last year when I took that class in the summer. It was very prolific for me. Maybe I should take another one this summer. And I can't remember what the assignment was. But I titled this Beg, Borrow, Steal. And maybe that was the assignment. I'm so glad you're here. It's Saturday, June something, 6th, I think. my husband went off to do glass blowing, so I had the whole house. I don't have to worry about him walking in. Okay, beg, borrow, steal. You were 12 and begged for a Tonka toy drone that you didn't get, and buckled under mom's gaze when you tried to steal a piece of birthday cake from your brother's hand. And that night, you borrowed Dad's Mazda, rolling it down the long driveway, barely missed by a speeding pickup truck. A year later, Dad borrowed trouble driving home through a blizzard. The hockey skates for your 13th birthday survived. At the cemetery, you stealed away, begging your dad to stop being dead. When your own son turned 12, you cried in the theater because he did not want to join you for a Saturday matinee. Now you are 55, and on snowy days, you walk to the liquor store for a 12-pack and beg your dead dad to forgive you for stealing his car. So I just used those words to make this story. It's not a true story. I made it up. Very short story. I think they call it microfiction. And the phrase, stop being dead, I found in a book written by Judith Vorst, V-O-I-R-S-T. She's a great writer. She's 94 years old. I think it was last year or 2024. She wrote a book when she was 94. Really funny. And she wrote a book for when she was in her 80s. So she's like letting us younger ones know how it's going to be when it gets older. So I would recommend her if you're looking for a book like that. Then when I was taking out that 3-ring binder, always adjust my pillow. So adjust, get comfortable. This is my 3-ring binder. This is my other cat, Alzado. Looked like he was laughing. And in here, I put all the letters from my mom and dad. And I have one from September of 1988, 1989, when she was 64, 65, and my dad was 4 years older than her. And here's one. I'm just going to, maybe I can see if I can read this to you a little bit. I didn't get very many from my dad. And let me tell you, this is his handwriting. Huh. So this was May 17th, 1990. So he must have been, he was born in 1920, 70, made him 70. May 17th, 1990. Dear Jean Marie, he always liked to use my middle name. When I was younger, he would call me Gina Marie, Gina Maria. So, dear Jean Marie, happy to hear the trees got planted. I think in another video, I had mentioned he sent me like 10 fruit trees because I had bought this house in 1990. Happy to hear the trees got planted. Did Miller's, the company the trees came from, did Miller's send you information on spraying, etc.? I'm enclosing a gardener's choice planting guide. I've Xeroxed, couldn't find their address. It's full of needed information. I use it. I've almost run out of space for planting, just a little left for my okra. I've planted corn in small pots, corn. And my parents lived in a very small house, not in the inner city, but just out from the inner city, about a mile. They had a tiny little front yard, and because of how they were situated on their street, they did not have a backyard and just a little side yard that was maybe 5 feet wide. And behind the house was just a concrete, and my mom had her clothesline. And I'm going to have to use this water that I keep handy, as you can tell. So he doesn't have much space, but he loves to farm. So he's growing corn. You know what corn is. Corn grows really high. You usually see it in like a big cornfield somewhere. Okay. Corn in small pots for transplanting into 5-gallon plastic containers. I got some sweet potatoes for Leslie, but got too many, so I'm trying to grow them under the grape arbor. He had a grape arbor on the side of the house, and he made his own wine. Okay, where was I? And on the right side, tiny little space on the right side. I'm also trying some special kind of squash, which is a melon type, which may be eaten raw or cooked. I've got 15 green tomatoes on my plants, but don't expect any to ripen before June 15th, so much earlier than Colorado out there in Maryland. Planted a rose geranium in front today, a gift from one of his daughter-in-laws. It sure has a sweet rosy odor. Aroma. I would have said aroma, but odor. Peas are in flower, but English sparrows are trying to decimate the tender leaves. We've had lots of spinach and beet greens, which your mother has frozen or we've eaten cooked or in salads. Vidalia onions are doing great. He loved his Vidalia onions. He'd eat them like an apple. I planted about 600 seedlings. I cannot tell you how small of a yard they have. And a packet of seeds has produced another 1,000 or so, which I'm giving to the kids and neighbors. Also planted Walla Walla onions, the sweet 5-inch size. And then he drew a circle with arrows, I guess to indicate 5-inch size. And just about every seed came up. Have been giving them away also. You'll have to start a garden, he says to me. Nothing like fresh vegetables for eating or giving away. Went wild turkey hunting in Western Maryland a couple weeks at our Martin Company Club cabin. He used to work for the Martin Company. Heard a lot of gobbling, but could not entice any to come close with my calling. Weather has been warm and rainy. Your mother is listening to and watching talk shows. Mother's Day was hectic as usual. Your mother ended up serving everyone instead of being served. This has got to stop. It's not fair to her. Well, that's all for now. Love, Dad. I'm so glad that all these letters made it from the moving van fire. Can you believe it? I'm so happy. Okay, put that over there. Now, what was I doing in this past week? I made a whole bunch of backgrounds for the Love for Your Elders. They have a new bunch of them listed on their website, loveforourElders.org, if you're interested. And so I got out my cards, my freebie cards to come in the mail, and this is one that I made. It's a fun one. And I'm not done with it yet. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll take out the freebie cards I get in the mail, and I'll just put some backgrounds on them. And then I'll think about, this is something I've made before, but I cut it, and so it would fit on this card. This is a lot like one of the other collage cards we've made. And I got some images inside this envelope that I'm thinking about using for something. I'm not sure what. Okay, see if I can get this back in there. So anyway, that's what I do. this is what I made a copy of this background. We used this background not too long ago. Oh, and I've got images. So when I think about images I'm going to use, I'll just put them inside the card. Keep them safe. I got this image from, this was the original image. I don't know if you can see that. Got that from a calendar. Calendars that come in the mail. And I got more and more. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those ready to go. And so when I went to the website to look at the elders and whoever nominates them, that's what they say, nominate. I guess you contact, I don't know how. I've never nominated anyone. But they always include a little information about the person. So the first one on the list, her name was Georgina. And I think she was nominated maybe by her son or grandson, which is pretty unusual because it's usually, you know, the granddaughter or daughter that does it. But anyway, he said she would appreciate it if they were in Spanish. So I wrote my letter, and I don't handwrite, even though they say, you know, they would appreciate handwriting. It's a little more personal. That hurts my shoulder. So I typed mine. And then I went on the internet to find a translation site, and I found a translation site. So I'm sending this to Georgina in Spanish. I send them all the same letter, maybe with a few little variations. All right, let's get to the collages for today. I'm going to move this over some. See if I can get myself set up. Pillow on my lap. Get the board. I used, you know, just an old frame I found at a yard sale. We've talked about that before. And I need to put this over here to make it a little more even. Steven. Okay. Oh, let me show you this. Do I have it? Thought I had it here. And I wanted to show you what we came up from, oh, here it is. We're here. All right, last time we got together on video 29, we were working on this one, and I believe I kept it exactly as we were working on it. And I really like this. Isn't it fun? It's just a really fun collage. And I used a background from another collage. So it comes in handy if you have a printer. Either a black and white or a color will work, because if you don't have a color printer, you can get out your colored printer, pencils or markers, and color it in. So if you see an image you like, what I do, if I'm going to do it, print it in black and white, and sometimes I do, is I put it on the lowest setting I can, so it's not real dark black and white. And then I might even copy that on an even lower setting. I think that's how I do it. Anyway, I need to sign. Oh, I did sign this one, so that is signed already. And we'll tilt this down and get to our collage for today. I'm so happy you're here. Okay. There we go. I think I got that in a situation. So, get my images over here. Now what I did, I found this background with the couches in a magazine, you know, a magazine that'll have household things and whatever. But I didn't want to just use that. And it had this. That was the original background with the couches and this little back mountain with the greenery. But I thought, no, I went to my calendar and I got this background of sort of ominous clouds and did it like that. So that's my background that I don't know if I took a picture of. Well, that's okay, because I'm not going to glue anything on today. But I have some ideas. I've had this image for a while, and it seemed like this is the kind of image that would be in the clouds. I found this image of a cat and thought she'll fit right on top of that table. And this was part of like a sparkly, probably diamond necklace. And I'll put that right there because it has that curve to it, right? I found this image in a travel brochure that came in the mail, and I thought this will go perfect over here on top of that table, and it's along the edge, so it doesn't, so you can just, you know, whoever's looking at the collage, their brain will fill in what's behind there. There's someone holding that teapot. Then for some reason, I cut out this little bridge escape, and I want that at the bottom. Why? I don't know why. And then from another collage we were doing when we had a lot of Asian people in their original kimonos with their umbrellas, I thought I might like her down here. I had these guys, I think they were like skydivers. So I'm putting at least one there, and I'm thinking maybe another one coming out there. So like, where's he coming from? And then the last one I decided on were this kind of cartoony people. And these are the ones that I had glue sticked to cardstock. And I'm telling you, that was pretty hard to cut out. And I'm going to put them on top of that table. So ta-da! That one's done. And I will glue stick them on. And if I change anything, I may or may not, but I'll show it to you in video number 31. So let's tilt back up, and I haven't done a lot lately. Like I say, I've decided only to make these collages and these videos once a week, but I showed you all the stuff I was doing in between. And also, because I needed to give myself more time, like on the one I just showed you, instead of rushing through and just, you know, developing some kind of collage that I like okay, but I didn't feel like my whole heart was in it. Like I didn't give it the time to just sort of mix up and use this and try that, or, you know, change that. So once a week works a little better for me. I hope you have a good day and a good weekend, whatever you're going to do. And I appreciate if you come, when you come here to watch, and let me know in the comments how I'm doing. And I'll see you next time. Bye.